We're going to go ahead and halt the music. Oh, come on, Winamp. I need to halt the music. Alright. Spawning in the top right-hand corner to start off this best of three. It is a blue Terran player from Team E-Stars. It is Botvinik.
And down in the bottom left-hand corner, our pink Zerg player from the Team Copenhagen Wolves. It is Storm. Playing as Zerg.
Yep. So, I'd like to say that this map actually gets pretty tricky for both races. Due to the nature of the third base that you decide to take. So if you're the Zerg player and you decide to take the third base further away from your opponent, it gets difficult to connect it with creep. Plus, whenever it is assaulted, the Terran gets a high ground advantage. But the same thing happens whenever the Terran player tries to land their third base. Normally, you'd like to see Terrans take the aggressive third base. That makes it a lot closer to their opponent. It's actually quite a short rush distance, quite deceiving. And if you take this third as the Zerg player, well then you're dealing with the short rush distance for the Terran, which normally you want to not have the Terran have the advantage of, and you want to make up your own advantage just by having good creep spread and being a little bit further away from your opponent, plus not giving as much area for drops to be as effective as they could be. Storm will go ahead and scout, and Botvinik will be going for a Reaper opening. And yeah, that's all just very, very standard so far.
Yep, I agree with you on the third base situation. I feel like I would much rather, as a Zerg player, take the one further away, kind of the one parallel to where your natural is. But if I did take this more forward third base, you have to take out this rock tower. Like, really, really seriously, this rock tower is super important to kill because you need to block up this entry ramp. If Marines and Mines and Medevacs can just stream up into here and up into your third base, it's going to be bad. Oh my god, I didn't know you held up your keyboard box too and you did that plug.
I only wish I was sponsored by Monster Energy so that I could take lessons from Jeff and Control Robinson.
Oh my god, that'd be so great. We'll be sponsored by Monster eventually, just give it some time.
It's true. So Hatch Gas Pool coming out from Storm. He knows that it's going to be a Reaper opening, seeing the barracks first. No one just goes barracks first gasless. So, going to be able to have Speedlings out in time to take his third base. First Reaper will come out. There will be a second Reaper. There will be a Factory. There will be a CC. Well, there will be a CC, then a Factory. There will be 2 Reapers and 6 Hellions trying to deny the third base. There's going to be 3 or 4 Queens coming up from Storm. So, just your standard. This is the sort of thing you would play against a barcode on the ladder. Just to get a feel for the game.
And this is the first game of the series, right?
Yeah, it's the first game of the series, so some people want to start it off with a bang like Morrow wants to start it off with a 2-axe failing 2 games in a row so that he can get his 2-0.
Yep, exactly.
But not everyone.
This is kind of one of the fields of thought. There's really the 2 different fields of thought in a best of X series. Either you want to cheese right away to start getting into your opponent's head, kind of the more mind gamey way to do it, or you want to like play really standard normal macro the first game, feel out your opponent, figure out what they're good at, what they're bad at, all that kind of stuff, and then you can start to capitalize that and adjust the second and the third game. I personally am a fan of the cheesy way, but that's just because I'm inherently a cheeser.
Oh, the Reaper is down to 10 health. The Ling's got a decent surround. It will end up getting away. And I want to point out, Storm left 1 drone on gas, which actually leaves him a lot of options, whether it wants to be a fast tech for Mutalis if he decides, okay, I see my opponent's probably going to go mech, I want to try him with fast Mutalis, or if he wants to go for a Roach Baneling all-in. Hyun is really famous for a Roach Baneling all-in that he would do. That was an adjustment of Sulky's first one against Innovation that they would do. We actually have a quick pause here from Storm. But he's going to be having that option if he wants to be aggressive against a 3cc double EBA sort of build. And this is pretty underrated to leave this 1 drone on gas, I would like to say. A lot of people won't notice it. The Reaper did notice it, so Botvinik might play a little bit more carefully or scout a bit more aggressively. Because we see he hasn't thrown down second or third gas just yet.
I like that a lot.
You wouldn't at this time anyway, so that's a stupid thing for me to say. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's no big deal. Don't worry. I already understood in advance that something that was going to happen, so I've already forgiven you. And it's just the fact that this just gives you so many more options. It makes it so, like you said, you can go fast mutas. Say you see a giant Marine SCV incoming. By the way, don't do those. They're really bad. If you see one of those coming, you can build a Baneling nest, and then when you have a Baneling nest, those just automatically lose. So there's stuff like that. You can get roaches, and you can do burrowed roach play. You can do stuff like that. There's just so many more options when you have that. And it's all just for the sacrifice of 40 minerals a minute, which really isn't too big of a deal.
Yep. Botvinik not going to be able to break into the natural just yet. Third base has not been trying to take him by storm. He's actually gone up to 44 supply and drones before trying to take his third. He's really going to have to wait for speed to finish it. Just finished, I believe. Yeah, the Lings are speedy now, so. Lings should be able to contest the third base, but it just still hasn't even been constructed. And it's almost done for Botvinik, who hasn't had to build a bunker and has already got his Hellions on the way. It's getting a little bit dangerous. I think Storm really needs to start constructing that hatchery. All right, there he goes. He's going to go for the aggressive third base positioning as well.
Yep, and like you were saying, when he really needs to construct that hatchery, it's even less just because of he needs to get the hatchery up soon. It's in the situation that when you have a hatchery thrown down against a Terran who's going Reaper Hellion, it's a lot safer than having to move a drone over there. Because obviously killing off a hatchery is not going to happen for a bunch of Hellions, but they can definitely kill off like a singular drone. So now that he has that down, it's a lot safer. This Reaper will actually get caught and killed, which is not really that relevant at the 7-minute mark. But also, it looks like he hates his Evo chamber. Speaking
of his Evo chambers, he's not. I was going to say he's not going for an all-in because he built these Evo chambers. So
yep.
That one drone on gas is going to allow him to not take this second gas until about 60 supply. Normally, you would see this taken around 36, maybe 44 supply after a couple rounds of drones, but here come the Reaper and 6 Hellions, going to be looking for that third base. And these can DPS down a hatchery quite quickly, and it's quite difficult to hold it off with just Lings.
Yeah, especially if he would have had that second Reaper. I like that. There's going to be a wall here that is full, but there's no Marines in this bunker yet, so this could still do something, but it looks like he's just going to run away. I like that choice as well.
Overlord did get to see pretty much everything that was going on in the main base as well. I didn't follow that Overlord sacrifice, but it is what it is. Storm trying to engage with these things off of creep, though. Not going to be very efficient. That's going to be kind of difficult, but Botvinik now trying to go uphill. The Queen's off creep coming all the way down to defend his third base. And this third base has not been contested very well, and 15 drones on the way. Very good from Storm there. And even though he got that third base this late, it's up. So he didn't take it too greedy, and he didn't lose it by letting it get chipped away before he had defenses. So I think a little bit of a more meticulous play there, and a little bit smarter in its objective nature.
I agree. I agree completely. You can see that this third base is already pretty fully saturated. The power of Zerg working great here, but these Hellions and Reapers are definitely posturing around in a situation they could try to pop up and kill some of these off. Or even the way that a lot of people forget about it is you take this backdoor route around. That's a lot of times that's a good way to kill people off. It's not going to happen this time because there are these two Overlords positioned really well, but as kind of a general tip for your ladder games, this would be the way that I would go if you wanted to kill off a bunch of drones and Hellions.
In the resources lost tab, we see way behind for the Zerg as he has been losing a lot of Lings left and right. He actually is making a big round of Lings to try to contest the landing of this third command center whenever that happens. Not going to be sacrificing an Overlord to poop creep on it at all, not the TLO style. But since the anti-air is still not out, he's just been spreading these Overlords and has almost half the map in vision. Now he gets to see where the third CC is trying to land. Oh, he's going to be able to surround these Hellions. This is going to be big. It's not super useful to this part of the game, but he still would like to keep those alive. And all the Hellions and the Reaper are going to be going down at the cost of just a few Lings. 2-2 is on the way. Spire is on the way. 1-1 finishing up for our Terran player. He does get to land the third base without any contested. Overlord speed not finished just yet, so this Overlord will certainly die whenever Botvinik decides to go over and kill it. But Storm,
exactly.
He wants to contest this. He's building banelings. He's got control of the watchtower. And this is going to be a good timing. There's no combat shields. Medevacs are just starting to be produced. And he can at the very least force this to lift and maybe poop creep on it, but without
especially this drop moving out. Yeah, makes that really good. That reduces the number of Marines there. Botvinik does finish up all of his crucial upgrades right before this happens, but like I said, now that he has that drop moving out, he just does not have the army anywhere close to be able to defend against this right now. He could almost even die to this.
I don't know if he's going to die. His production is really starting to kick in right now. He's fighting near the bunkers. The bunkers don't need to be repaired, but there are a lot of Lings getting a lot of SCVs by the third base. 21 workers killed. Oh my gosh. Actually, Botvinik is taking a lot of damage from this. This is such a crisp timing from Storm, knowing that this is even before Medevacs are up, before the Marines could stem as freely as they wanted to, and he's killed 27 workers.
Yeah, and that was such a weird timing too, because most timings look at stuff like upgrades. Like say his 1-1's gonna finish at 12 minutes, so I'm gonna attack at 11:45 or something like that. This was different than that. All of Botvinik's upgrades finished right as he got there. He got combat shield, he got +1, all that kind of stuff. But this attack hit when with like an infrastructure timing. It hit in a situation as this drop's getting cleaned up by the third base. It hit in a situation where he knew, okay, this is where he's going to be weakest, not because of upgrades, but because his infrastructure hasn't fully kicked in yet. As a Terran player, you have to kind of build up all this infrastructure first. Like, you have to build all these additional barracks, especially every time you land a base. And it takes some time for them to actually kick in and start going. And Storm knew that timing really well. He hit it right say as all those reactors were about to finish. He hit right then when the Terrans at their full production capability, but haven't gotten enough rounds to actually get their army out. So, really, really good job from him. Really cool timing, and also he's able to swell in with a little bit more Mutaling Bane over here.
Absolutely. Going for the bait and switch here, just trying to make sure that he's taking a lot of map control, and his creep spread is fantastic. It is pretty much getting towards the next watchtower. Marines are going to be trying to clean it up. They're going to be spending a scan, but there are a lot of Lings and Banelings morphing to get ready to contest this and push it back.
He gets that one more active creep tomb, which is really important. If you see an active creep tomb that you can go get, you want to use that. You want to make that the most high priority by far.
Oh, disregard that. There's a huge flank coming in. He cannot pick up in the medevacs. The mutas are here. They're going to be trying to come back to this third base, but how the Marines... I think that there are enough Marines here to spread this out. Using the drop trick from the medevacs to be spreading them out again. The mutas are just doing so much here, though. The Marines, they don't have 2 units yet, and the mutas, they don't have +1 either. But the Ling's doing so much damage. The bunker goes down. The Marines are trying to do what they can, and this turret is not being taken out. But Botvinik is falling down in supply. More Lings in production. In the meantime, there's 70 drones behind this and a 4th hatchery.
Yeah, this is starting to get rough for Botvinik. He has 3 bases up, but he's barely just started mining on this third base. There's still like half these minerals left. He doesn't even have any of these gases done. His army's getting small. This is getting rough for Botvinik. I feel like what Storm's gonna want to do is gonna want to keep on pressuring, keep on attacking him because he has the advantage now, and he's continuing to build units, so he might as well use it. Unless he builds more drones, which is also a good idea.
I like drones. Drones are a pretty good unit, I think.
Yeah, when in doubt, build drones. Really is the way to do it.
Well, Marine going to be taking the watchtower and be like, wow, that's a lot of creep.
Yeah, he's going to go, wow, I am surrounded by creep.
This is not a fun place to be.
That's funny that I don't think that creep can actually see him up there, though. It cannot.
How about that? Yeah, it's the creep tumors that give the vision, not the creep. Taking out a medevac and a small handful of Marines, that was going to be a drop later. Overlord speed's still not done, not even begun. 12 more drones on the way. He's going to be going up to about, looks like 90 drones. And this, like I was saying earlier, when Morrow versus, I can't remember who else was playing, when Morrow versus the Zerg player were playing earlier. I
do not remember his name.
Just 100 drones is a really good way to go, just because you don't have to feel as delicate about every battle you take, making sure you're a little bit more cost efficient than you normally can be. You can be aggressive with your like you can spend more APM on your creep spread and your injects back home if you just have more of them, and if you have 90 drones to support, losing a little bit more in every fight bit by bit.
Yep, and it's one of those situations when you have a lot more drones, you want to always be constantly attacking, because like you just said, you're going to get maxed out quick. A lot of that is not going to be army supply. Like, he's not actually that far ahead in army supply, it's just mostly his workers, so you want to keep on attacking when you get maxed out, keep on attacking, because the longer you wait, just the more army supply the Terrans will get.
Mutas are going to be trying to go into the main base, going to be trying to bait the Marines back. In the meantime, creep spread is desperately trying to be killed by Botvinik. A few Marines here are going to be doing what they can, and they actually are. One of the Little Mine gets off, get a lot of those mutas. Still, most of them are in the green health. The Lings, are they going to be engaging? No, there is still the creep clearing force. Lings are still back home, defending what they can. Morphing a few more Banelings. A lot of Lings are going to be coming up, going to be trying to get this around. There are a few mines, but he hasn't gone all the way back to his main minefield just yet. A lot of the mines are going to be coming back and hitting his own Marines. And there he goes. Storm taking a huge engagement here. He has finished the infestation, but now he will be looking to go to hide. Oh my God. A 4 base all in. And so many Baneling connections. Now the Mutas can just fight Botvinik down to a maxed out Zerg, and GG down to 120 supply. Was not able to ever clear up that creep. And that ended up costing him. Number 1 rule of the Terran players, you...
Oh, I think it might be generating a cold a little bit.
It's okay, I could hear you very clearly even though you took your headset off, so just mute your mic next turn. Falling in the top right corner of Frost, the victor of that last game, from Team Copenhagen Wolves, spawning in the pink, it is Storm.
And down in the bottom right hand corner, from the Team E-Stars, it is our red Terran player, Botvinik.
So if you're Botvinik on this map, what do you go for? Also,
I would say go for CC first on the high ground into just the normal kind of boring Hellion contain, maybe Banshees if you're really feeling it. If not, then just go into normal Biomine. So just very boring because this map's big enough that you can pull off CC first. You can pull off the 3 command centers pretty well. Even in these vertical positions actually really good for drops. Really drop the crap out of this natural. It's alright. That would be mainly what I would do. Is just normal stuff. You can't really cheese on this big of a 4-player map.
we have seen it before.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you just have to be really manly, but
Well, there's a fine line between manly and stupid.
yep, they usually go pretty hand in hand. in all
I
honesty.
mean, have you seen Jackass?
Oh, yes. I was definitely one of those kids that watched it as a little kid and tried to recreate it and hurt myself. So that was me.
Anyway, Storm going to be scouting cross positions first because a close position game versus a cross position game is just so different on this map, especially in this matchup. So, going to be able to see that is going to indeed be close position, so going to be having a lot of time to mentally prepare for a sort of drop, a sort of starport-based harassment that can be coming out of that. That'll be a little bit more advantageous for our Terran player. But he can probably presume that it's a 4-player map, so Botvinik might be going for CC first more than a Reaper opening. So therefore he's gone gasless, and he's going to just go for a gasless, probably gasless 4-queen opening.
Yep, and Botvinik has gone for the low ground CC first, which is, it's less safe than high ground CC first. It dies to early pool kind of things, because when you put on the high ground, you can wall it in with your first barracks and your supply depot, stuff like that. But when you go on the low ground, you cannot. But it is a lot better economically. You get to mine from it while it's morphing into an orbital command instead of it sitting up here morphing into an orbital. So that's really the main difference in the two. It's not really that big of a deal, but it is a little bit better for them.
At these high levels, so those little bits of mineral income, they actually know how to make advantage of that. Whereas, like,
Oh yeah, big difference.
I have Silver League players that are like, hey Travis, why am I not? Why do you keep telling me I shouldn't go hatch first in ZBZ? Doesn't it like put me ahead? I'm like, because you're gonna instantly negate that advantage by forgetting your third overlord.
Yep,
Like,
exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. Drone being a huge pest here, we did get a good view of it, and he delayed the CC by about 10 or 15 seconds and gets a worker kill and gets out of there. He saw the barracks. He should know that this is just going to be 2 Marines, 6 Hellions. He doesn't need speed very soon. And without the Reapers, the Hellion play actually becomes a lot less scary. Almost infinitely less scary.
It really does. Having those Reapers up there adds, obviously, the more DPS, and it also adds almost like an infinite amount more health to that army. If you keep the Reapers in the front, you can have them take some damage down to like reddish health. Then you pull them back and they heal up and you send right back in. You just keep on going back and forth, where the normal Hellions with no Reapers doesn't have any of that regen, so they kind of can't be as aggressive. So,
Well, we've got a little bit of time. It is gasless 4 Queen, 2 Marines under reactor, Hellions off of 1 gas. We should see a third CC, and we should see a third hatchery around 44 supply or so whenever he got it last game. I don't know, why don't you ask me something? Ask me something profound. Come on, Tate.
Ask you something profound.
Ask me something that'll take me a while to answer.
Alright, I'm going to ask you something that's going to take me a while to answer, but I'm also asking you something that's going to be maybe a potentially tough question because I don't really like you that much. But besides the point, what do you think of Alterzeum Stronghold, the map that is in this map that I've never seen before?
Oh, I hate that map.
You hate it? What's your opinion?
My opinion, well, okay, the thing is, I can't beat a Protoss or Terran player that just turtles. And in general, I don't really like ZVZ late game. Late game.
It gets kind of gross.
Yeah. So, mainly whenever I face that map, people are like, oh, well, I mean, Zerg is going to have all the map control in the world. I better just sit on my 3 bases. And a lot of the times, I rely on Lingering buys in that matchup, in both those matchups. And it's just impossible to get into their main or natural as well. It gets very tough. And I'm not the best at late game ZVP or ZVT. So I think most players veto it because sometimes they also will fear not being able to put on too much pressure. So I know that Botvinik vetoed that in this series. I'm guessing...
I feel like it's a really good map if you can like hold down your macro super well, like really, really well. Like you can go, okay, they're turtling on 3 bases, so I'm gonna take like 5 or 6 as the Zerg, I can hit all of my injects perfect. I can keep on spreading creep all over the map and stuff like that. But if your macro slips, it's just going to be harder for you because you need more bases as a Zerg player on that map, especially against a turtley Terran Protoss.
Yeah, drops get really hard for me, but well, handful of wings coming out as Speed is going to be finishing. Going to try to push back these Hellions. We do have the 3rd CC finish. We have the factory finish and more barracks finished as well. Starport going to start being produced, double eBay finished as well. Hellions just going to be poking up at the front, trying to control the creep. That's really all they can do at this point, because you can't really assault the 3rd base that much if you don't have the Reaper support. But you got that advantage back by getting away with CC first. And I mean, Botvinik at 8.5 minutes is on 45 SCV, so he's sitting, he's sitting pretty.
That's nothing to complain about. Usually the standard metric, or at least it was back in Wings of Liberty, was 50 SCVs at 10 minutes that's a happy point, you're doing good. And he is going to have 50 SCVs probably by nearly 9 minutes. He would have if he wouldn't get supply block, but that shows that he's just in a really good economic spot. He got this 3rd command center up really fast. He's already working on his 4th and 5th barracks. He's got double eBay cranking. Botvinik's in a good spot right now. He doesn't have any Reapers, but he's in a good spot.
Well, Storm is still in a really good spot. He's up to 70 drones already. Hellions got cleaned up, only killing 3 drones. They're going to be able to scout the front here. Losing a few wings to that bunker a little bit carelessly there. But at the same time, layers finishing up. Very, very late, greedily late Baneling nest. And now the Spire is going to be able to come up almost right away.
Yep, so that he's starting to work his way into his lair attack. He got his lair done. You said Spire's about to come up. His 1-1's about to finish. He'll be able to do 2-2 on that. Baneling nest, when it finishes, he'll probably start working on Baneling speed, or maybe a little bit further into the future, but he'll start working on that at some point soon, where both these players are kind of just moving into their mid-game situation with their lots of barracks and starports with reactors, reactor factories, stuff like that.
Quick 4th base.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like we could cast TVZ with our eyes closed.
We probably could. We're getting there. This Overlord's probably going to get killed off because he was out cooking creep a little too far. He's a little too ambitious.
A little bit ambitious. Botvinik a lot more aggressive about clearing this creep a lot earlier than he was last game, though. First 2 medevacs come out, you need to go clear the creep. Forcing some
I think that's definitely the correct way.
Better decision. He is going to have to final creep. He might lose these Marines. No, he gets the hot pickup. Saves as many as he can. Forces 10 Banelings to be made. That's 250 gas gone. Secures the map control for his 3rd base. Botvinik already off to a much better start than he was in the last one.
The Storm is catching where he's dropping his Marines, though. He only gets 2 more additional ones there, but every little bit helps. So, especially now that mutas are out, mutas are coming out. Botvinik won't be able to kind of do that kind of stuff where he runs out, gets his Marines surrounded, then just picks them up. That's not going to work when the mutas are around. So, at least it won't work as well.
Wings are going to come and try to do what they can. Botvinik is actually ahead in supply right now. He's actually pretty much even on workers. His macro's really kicking in quite well, and Storm's not been able to apply nearly as much pressure. Lots of Lings going down. Bailing speed is not even done just yet. And he hasn't gotten to go up to that fabled 90 drone mark on this 4th base just yet. He's made a few Lings. And he's going to make another round of Lings instead of 8 drones just then. Because he really needs to protect his creep right now. He knew how crucial it was in that last series, and so he's going to say, okay, I'm going to sacrifice a few drones if I can keep my creep, as long as you don't kill it. And Botman is like, screw this creep, man. Bailing speed's not finished. Littlemind burrowed a little bit in front, able to take out a few of the Lings, able to take out the Queens as well, because there's almost no detection. I don't think there's an overseer here. Mutas are going to be coming to try to do what they can, but the Littlminds are not rearmed yet. One of the Bailings going to be able to take that out. A few drones rallied for some reason.
The drones thinking their army units is just not going to work for him. You can see though, Botvinik did a good job. He traded really cost efficiently with those widow lines, but like you said, he did not get the creep. Storm defended his active creep tumors, and all that kind of stuff. So Botvinik did a good job killing off units, but he didn't get any of the creep, and now he's going right back again.
Yeah, he sure is. But look at the supply. Botvinik slowly pulling quite ahead. There was a double drop that was able to take out that 4th base that we missed. It was on the mini-map. But now he's just playing this game so much better than he was that last time. Oh, one of the big medevacs is picked off. But at the same time, look at how much his creepers are seeing. His 4th base is trying to be established again. 2-2 is done for our Zerg player, about to be done for our Terran player. And when that happens, the Terran player has a big advantage. And guess how many Ling Rambides have happened this game?
No.
0.
Exactly. That's his issue. Botvinik has been able to go in. He's been harassing Storm. He's been making him build units instead of drones, stuff like that, where Storm has done nothing economically to Botvinik. Botvinik's been able to sit back, he's been able to build happily the whole time. One time some Lings ran in and hit their head on a bunker, but what were you saying?
Only one SCV was killed that game, and that was the initial SCV. I was going to say that Botvinik had a supply lead, but that was before all these mutas were flying into this turret. It was natural. Rallying Marine's going to be able to try to take out what they can. Muta's going to see if they can fight. They don't know if Marines are in the bunker. Now they get in the bunker, but at the same time, Botvinik going to start moving out on the creep. Can goes down to see where the banelings are. Widowmine's burrows. Free splits being established. A few Marines going forward. Taking out the active tree screamers. 2-2 is done for both players. There's going to be a surround coming. Widowmine's not going to be going off just yet. Huge Widowmine hits on most of the banelings. Units are coming in a bit late to the party. Lings are doing a lot as well, but Botvinik still ahead and supplied so many Marines, so many upgrades, and that's it. GG
There's the
comes
GG.
out.
Wow.
It's okay, but right now we're casting a Terran versus Zerg with the red Terran spawning in the top left corner of Belshire Vestige, able to aggressively take out that creep, take no damage in his economy early on, and end up with a victory. From eStars, it is Botvinik.
And down in the bottom right-hand corner, the winner of, I want to say, the first game, it is from the team Copenhagen Wolves. It's the pink Zerg player Storm. Also, I like that unintentional axle toss intro.
You have a lot of axle toss intros, man.
That's just how it has to go sometimes.
That's how it should never go, because
That's how it should never go.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Intros are a fine art that nobody knows how to do correctly, including myself.
I don't know. Tasteless is pretty good at them, I'd say.
Yeah, Tasteless is actually really good at them. It helps that he has the Street Fighter voice or other voices to be able to actually say the names for him. Kind of builds the hype.
I mean, I could do Street Fighter voice if I really wanted to. From eStars, it is Botvinik.
I'm not even gonna imitate this. It's not gonna.
Copenhagen Wolves, Storm.
I miss Street Fighter voice. Those were the days back in GSL.
He still did it for GSL, I believe. I thought it was only the other guy for GSDO.
I don't think so. I think at least for a while there was a new voice. They might have brought Street Fighter voice back, but as we're babbling on about things that don't matter, it seems that Botvinik went barracks first.
Yeah, and he also went without gas. I would expect this to be a 15 gas, but he's just gonna go for a gasless one max expand. Okay, I think I know the deal with this. So, Storm has drone scouted in the past 2 games. He did not drone scout in this game. So, in both of those games, he saw the barracks and didn't check the gas and assumed it was Reapers. So he was thinking, if Storm scouts and sees my barracks first and doesn't check the gas and doesn't hang out to see if there's a Marine out at 3 minutes and 8 seconds, he's going to go hatch gas pool instead of gasless 4 queen. And that's what he's doing. So he's gaining a slight advantage with that, actually. He's not looking to apply any pressure.
That's kind of like the series mind games I was talking about.
Oh, he's going to get this first Overlord too. Great
That's
play
just sloppy.
from Botvinik.
That's just sloppy play by Storm, because that Marine did pop out right as you said, right at 308. It popped out and just ran right down the ramp, where it would normally be rallied. And
well, the thing is, both Terran openers currently don't feature a lot of anti-air in the metagame. You have Reaper openings and you have CC first. If you have CC first, the Marine doesn't come out until 4.5 minutes. If you have a Reaper opening, you don't get anti-air like for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's some absurd amount of time.
I think it's a safe bet 9 times out of 10 that Overlord does not face a Marine at 308, and he even gets away. It's not sloppy.
Yeah, okay, it's not. Yeah, I thought it was sloppy up until the moment that I actually looked and went, okay, it's gonna survive. So.
You thought it was sloppy until you thought for half a second. Is what you mean to say? You need to apologize.
Man, you are very on Botvinik's back. I agree. You know, that was, or not Botvinik, Storm's back. That was a good Overlord though.
SCV joining in, killing the bricks. Alright, so the openings that come out from gasless 1 rack expand, when you see the double gas come up, you see 4 Marines made to build a bunker, and then you see the reactor barracks into the Hellion play. Right after the CC, the bunker is going to have to be a little bit defensive because he knows he can't complete the wall by 6 minutes, which is when Zergling speed is going to finish. So he's going to have to pull that back to pull off with a few more supply depots. And this is slightly just less greedy in a lot of ways. He's going to sacrifice 4 or 5 SCVs by the 10-minute mark. He'll have about that many less. And he has 2 more Marines than he normally would have, but he'll have the Hellions out at the same time.
Yep, exactly. Going for that 1 rack
there's
expand.
a Roach Warren coming that I did not notice. And it is...
Oh wow, yeah, he just scanned it. There's Zergling speeds coming. There's still 2 on gas. He's mined a lot. This is God, I was about to say this was going to be a big attack. I thought I had a prediction good, but then I saw 10 drones.
Yeah, as soon as the scan comes, all that money was just spent on 10 drones instead. Don't know how I didn't notice that roach warren. Sometimes you just get caught up in other things.
It'll happen. It's no big deal. But it didn't really end up mattering that much. But that's such a cool read from Storm, though, that he sees, okay, Botvinik knows now what I'm doing. He knows exactly there's going to be a roach attack coming. He's probably even going to plan more for it. So now that he's going to play more defensive, I'll just play economically. I'll just build a bunch of drones.
Is this 2-base Muta? I think he's transitioning to 2-base Muta with all this extra gas. No third hatchery, no Evo chambers, no Baneling nest. All the gas is going down. He's going to be going for 2-base Muta here. Unfortunately, Widowmine production's already starting. Starport production has begun. There is no early third CC. Botvinik playing this game very, very safe.
There's not a lot of marine production though. There's one tech lab barracks to be able to fight against this. I'd like to. Hopefully he has some more barracks down. Maybe that even have reactors on them. But putting a reactor on a barracks he builds now probably wouldn't even be that good. It's going to take so long for the reactor to build. So this is his main defense is going to have to be with the Widow Mines and with whatever he produces out of his starport. But I don't know. I just don't know if that's going to be enough. We need marines to be able to deal with this.
Yeah, things that shoot up are good at things that fly. Are good against things that fly. Yep, and there goes 2-base Muta. So this would normally kill a meching player. If for whatever reason Botvinik decided to go mech, he is not, as he just added on the extra barracks. Whether that's a reaction to seeing that there's no third hatchery just yet or not, we won't be able to know. But I think it was because Sim just started and he's had that tech lab on that barracks for a long time. Yeah, I think that he was planning on going mech.
I think so as well. It seems like a very mechy setup. He doesn't have a lot of additional gas, so he only has 2. But now that he is building these other racks, he's definitely going for the barracks play. I don't know if he knows what's going on yet though. Does he know about the Spire yet?
I think that he can presume. There's not a whole lot of other 2-base plays. Yeah, he's just gonna scan. I was gonna say normally he wouldn't have had to commit to the gas just yet because you'll add on the 2 factories and then add on the double gas. Usually is how I've seen it been afforded in most games that I've watched and analyzed, I guess. So he hadn't committed one way or the other. I think that it was purely reactionary because he was set up to go either way. Saw there was no third base, thought it was going to be 2-base Muta and decided to go Bio instead.
Yep, I like that choice. Bio is kind of the safer play against. It's better against stuff that I would say is like janky stuff like 2-base Muta or some weird like Roach, Bane, Speedling all in stuff like that. Bio is just better in like sketchy situations where mech is really good in like a specific like way. Okay, they're not going to attack me for a while. I can build up my mech army until it gets to like a high supply count. Then it'll be really good. So I like the choice of going Bio when you don't really know what's going on.
Yep. So Botvinik going to be moving out with the 6 Hellions, 9 Overlords on the way to produce what's coming out from the Vikings, and the Mutas are starting to be produced. Upgrades finally coming out very late, but marine production has begun. The engineering bays are up, so he can go ahead and start producing missile turrets as soon as the Mutas are scouted out by the Hellions or by the Roaches or Overlords. Or those Vikings, sorry. And Mutas are going to be trying to take out the Roaches. The Hellions, not only one gun down just far. They are taking out a lot of drones. A few of them are lined up as they were transferred. And there actually aren't a whole lot of drones here, so he's actually only going to net 6 worker kills. But it's a lot of valuable scouting intel and keeps the Mutas back home for the time being.
Yeah, that's one of the really nice things you can do with your Hellions when you know your opponent's going 2-base Muta, especially when you opted for that mech route. You know, okay, you could probably kill me now if he sends his Mutas in, but if I send my Hellions in, he has to attack those, or else he's going to lose all of his drones. So that's usually a really good tactic you can go for, and as you can see, that helped him build up this bigger infrastructure. He now can produce 5 Marines all at once. He's getting to the point that he has 23 Marines out now, so he can deal with this pretty easily.
Despite the fact that Storm went for Lair and Spire before his Evo Chambers, his upgrades are still actually going to be ahead of Botvinik's.
Yeah, he took those upgrades really fast. He spent that gas on the upgrades usually in the time that people would have spent that gas on the Mutas, which I like. I think that was a good choice.
Well, Storm trying to move out now. This one pack of Mutas, 2 of the Mutas are going to get, no, one of them's going to get taken out. Sim going to try to take that out, but he's not going to be able to catch up. Just takes his frustration out on the Overlord instead. A few bandits being made. But one of the Mutas did fly across there and get picked off before that engagement happened. More barracks being added on. 3rd CC is landed, and 1-1 is finishing up. The army will finish up soon as well. And I would not be surprised to see at least 1 or 2 Thors be produced.
Yep.
Depending on how the Muta production keeps going. But Botvinik was doing pretty well earlier. Storm does have a bit of a supply lead, but 10 of that is in drones, and these 4 Roaches are kind of not as good-ish supply as you would want. You could have 16 banelings instead. So,
yeah, that really does put it into perspective right there. That how supply inefficient roaches are, but it's only 4 of them, so it's not too huge of a deal. Most of this is Ling Bane and Muta, and these banelings do have baneling speed. He's also building 15 more right now, so I feel like it'd be safe to assume he's going to attack the third base.
I think he kind of has to.
Yeah, after building all those banelings, you're kind of obliged to attack.
He's making a lot more too.
Oh my god, he's not even have enough. Okay, he's gonna have enough lings, but
I
thought for a second there he's not gonna have enough lings.
He's just gonna try the bait and switch with his mutas, try to pull some of the Marines back, and then move in with his banelings.
Like
pretty easy there. No, only 1 turret up at this base. Botvinik being a little bit greedy, but the mutas don't have any upgrades so far, so they're not gonna be able to do what they can. They can take out the gases though, but Marine production and Widowmine production is not very gas heavy. Botvinik only moving out a small hit forces of Marines, and in the meantime, Storm is ready for a big attack.
Botvinik did kind of bite on this bait and switch. It took him a while to move, but after Storm started to attack those supply depots, they're undefended. He moved in, and now here comes this huge attack.
Widowmine's trying to do what they can. There's no micro going on from Botvinik. He's caught completely off guard. His CC has to be lifted. So many SCVs are about to go down. The missile turret's going to go down, and that's going to be free range for the mutants to come in and do what they can to the CC. More Marines going to be trying to rally as well as they can. The Roaches without speed are going to be forcing them back, it seems. There is a quick scan going down to see what the third base is looking like. He sees there's no static T. He might be trying to drop that, but right now he needs to save his third command center. Missile turret finished just in range of that. One of the SCVs can repair it. Medevac gets picked off for free. Another Medevac could get picked off for free as well, and in the meantime, Storm takes a huge supply lead.
Yeah, that was such a good attack for him. That bait and switch, like you said, even though it took a little while for him to eventually get those Marines over, you could tell Botvinik was very apprehensive about it. He's like, well, I don't really want to send him over there. I need to defend my third base. But he realized all the supply depots were completely undefended. He couldn't lose all those, so he had to send some Marines over. The moment that Storm saw that those Marines were over there, he just grabbed all of his unit, he grabbed all of his Lings and Banes and just stormed them straight into the storm. No pun intended, but straight into the third base, and there was just no micro there. Botvinik could not do anything. Well, he was trying to micro on both fronts, and then
I want to point out that he didn't just wait for Botvinik to be moving his Marines. He waited until he noticed. No, he waited until he noticed that Botvinik was controlling the Marines to know, okay, you are not looking at your third base right now. Because he can send the Marines there and just not look there. That's totally fine. But he made sure he's like, alright, as soon as they're being microed, I move on in. And speaking of that, he's microing out from the natural descent of Lings and Bailings moving in. Storm has such a huge supply lead that micro isn't even important. Widowmine taking lots of hits on the units. Units going down to very low health, but there are lots of Lings and Bailings. The Roaches are still alive. Those 4 Roaches that we were knocking on earlier are not even going down just yet. One of them might go down. No. They don't even have speed. They're waddling away off street. And eventually be able to take that off. And that's a little bit overzealous from Storm as he did so.
He needs something to get him ahead in this game.
He certainly does. He does have a drop moving out towards where the potential 5th base will be. A drone is not going to be able to scout it out. At the same time, he's going to be trying to move towards Storm's 5th base. Oh, sorry, his 4th base. And this is just where he's going to try the bait and switches with the speed medevacs. Because 1 medevac and 8 Marines can be so cost effective. 2-2 is done for him. He is starting to work on 3-3. Banelings are trying to be morphed right now. There is no infestation pit. So layer is going to be the tech of choice for a long while. 3-3 is going to be a long way off. Mutas are going to ultimately be able to clean off that drop, but lots of workers were killed. 17 workers were killed over there. In the meantime, Widowmine's being left behind, and Botvinik, he's starting to pull this back. He's got his third base established. He's got even in supply. He's behind by 20 drones, so his army supply is a lot more scary right now.
Oh yeah, he has a huge army supply right now. He's at 2-2. He's got a lot of Widow Mines. He's all the way up to... Oh yeah, 9 isn't a huge amount, but that's quite a hefty amount. He's got a lot of Marines. He's working on his 3 attack. He's going to kill off this 5th base. He's doing Botvinik's doing a good job.
Both players is amazing right now. I'm going to switch to their cameras for a little bit. We're going to see exactly what Botvinik sees right here. He's trying to micro against these units. He's splitting very aggressively. Widowmine hit's going to be doing. He's actually not moving his camera that much. There we go. He's still microing. And he's still going back home and making more Marines, pulling the Marines from his third base, and Storm going back and injecting, looking at the mini-map, taking care of what's going on in his third base, and this is just insane from both players.
Yeah, this is really good. Both these players playing with really high APM, north of 200, both of them there. They're just doing a really good job. They kind of have to be all over the place in this matchup, because this is the one matchup that really does, it's just a true test of mechanics. Who who can move their Marines the most, while they're building more Marines back at home, while they're rallying stuff out, while they're dealing with drops, and you just have to be able to do everything all at once, and both these players are doing a really good job of it.
24 banelings being made. I think that Storm is looking to just demolish this big attack once and for all while he's using his mutas at third base. The third base is completely undefended, but Botvinik, he has so much DPS in this army right now. +3 attack is going to be finishing very soon. The Wings and Banelings trying to move off. They take out the 4th hatchery, but the mutas are doing so much damage to the SCVs. The SCV count is getting up to 34 workers killed. This orbital is going to go down. There's not a 4th orbital on the way.
Oh no, he's not going to have another orbital. He's being knocked down to 2 base economy after this, and these mutas
His main
will...
base is going to be pretty much mined out.
Oh my god, he's going to be essentially one mining base. He might lift his main command center to go take a 3rd one. That's just crazy.
Great decision there from Storm, seeing how intense... Oh, losing a few mutas there. He was seeing how intense the aggression was towards his 4th base, knew he could hold it off with just good creep thread links and banelings, and moved out with the mutas. He's like, there's no way that you can have enough back home, but his 3rd base is gone, his 4th base is gone, both players down to their naturals as far as the majority of their mining is concerned.
Yeah, I would really like to see Storm take that 3rd base again. He needs to be a base up on this Terran player really quick, especially because his main is mined out. There's 2 mineral patches left there that have essentially nothing on them. And his natural's getting really close. He needs that 3rd base so bad.
Widowmine was blocking the making of the 4th hatchery again. In the meantime, the main base is being lifted off, just like you said. And both players playing pretty scrappy, pretty low on supply, and I love that Storm is still aggressively spraying this creep, because these are not scans that Botvinik wants to be spending on this creep. Oh, never mind, he's going to be engaging with his Wings and Banelings off of creep. You don't want to get overzealous again. Big Widowmine hits on those Banelings, and now it's most of the mutas, not a whole lot of links. Marines were targeting the mutas right away, but now they're moving back into the Widowmines. The Widowmines are going to be able to take out almost all the Banelings. Botvinik down below 100 supply, but Storm is only down to 117. He's making 18 more lings right now. He's getting his double expansions back. The mutas are going to try to engage as cost effective as they can to try to get those reinforcements rallying while they can take advantage of their region.
It's starting to get to that point that they both run such low unit counts that every single little unit engagement is getting so important. These mutas being able to dart in, take out one Marine and dart back and regen. If they can do that just multiple times over and over again, he can just start slowly whittling Botvinik down and start getting to a supply lead that he can eventually roll him over with. But that can get a little bit heavy micro. He's going to move his mutas back. He's going to kind of weave him around, try to find another avenue while he tries to expand out his bases.
Storm is ahead in supply, but most of that is in the worker supply. The army count is actually ahead for Botvinik, and keep in mind, the Baneling nest had gone down for Storm, so he's having to make another one. The infestation pit is not up, and 3-3 is done for Botvinik. So every one of these engagements gets that much more slightly cost effective.
Yeah, I love the fact that Botvinik repaired his medevac. Some of them were getting low health. They're so important in a situation like this because they just... Yeah, exactly. They just give your Marines more health. They make them so much more long-lasting. They're like the muta regen, except they can also teleport them everywhere.
Teleport? You mean transport?
I mean, with the medevac boost, it's essentially the same thing.
On Cloud Kingdom, at least.
Yeah. Oh my god. We don't even need to get into that. That was just such a mess. But more Banelings being made. 24 Banelings being morphed over here by the natural, which is such a weird spot to morph Banelings. Usually you're going to want to morph them in an offensive situation. You don't want them to waddle all the way across the map, but... They're
going to be rolling across the map at this point, but Botvinik,
yeah, I guess so.
With this group of 3-3 Marines and mines, he knows he can take on this Zerg in a low econ.
Oh,
and there's not burrows. Like, there can't be any burrow Banelings. Oh, Muta's being taken out a little bit carelessly there. But Botvinik does not want to engage upward into the ramp. He makes sure he scans. Vision is very important to him. He free splits down. And Banelings are going to try to engage, but free splits as well. Banelings coming in. Widowmine hits. Where are they? They're going to be right on top of the Banelings. Mutas are coming in as well. But the 3-3 Marines are just too good. Storm making 32 more lings right now. He does not need any more drones as he's oversaturated on his bases as it is. Trying to establish a 5th, but here comes the double drop. And this is the thing that he does not have the units to be in this many places at once.
He's just going to keep on getting pulled all the way apart. I would really like to see him double drop down by that 5th base first, because these mutas are going to swoop in and they're actually going to miss this medevac. Oh my god. They could have gone in and killed off both those medevacs, but now these Marines are going to get dropped into the 3rd base. They're just going to start shredding through all the drones here, and this double drop can kill on a mineral line really quick.
Sure can, but at the same time, the mutas are moving in to try to take out the last mining base. But Botvinik taking out a lot of SCVs here. But the workers killed by Botvinik is going up so much higher at this third base. A lot of the lanes are going to be trying to take out whatever they can. But the SCV is being targeted by the mutas again. We'll see. Botvinik is able to push this back for now. The Orbital Command is not going to be taking any pot shots. And Storm is below 100 supply right now. 97 army supply, and he's not going to be able to get any more units anytime soon.
No, his drone count's low. Well, I guess the SCV count's pretty low too. Everything is just, it's getting to that point where nobody really has any money. Every single little engagement is so important. Like wiping out all those Marines so easily, that's actually a fairly big deal from Storm. He has to keep up his fourth base. He has another place that he could mine at some time in the future, and now he's going to go right up into the third of Botvinik.
That'd be curious. He's trying to engage as well as he can, but he doesn't have enough lanes. The bailing hits are not good enough. The mutas trying to fight the 3-3 Marines. They are evaporating. Storm is just using the last-ditch effort, and he knows it's a good game. And Botvinik will advance from the group into the bracket stage, and Storm will not. A 2-1 victory in that scrappy game.
Wow,
Just
that was
such
really good
good
actually.
control.
Yeah, those up